questions whilst I go through the session today, please feel free to interrupt and ask me some questions. So we are going to go through LinkedIn. I'm going to start by sharing my LinkedIn profile. Would somebody mind just commenting at the bottom to let me know that they can definitely see LinkedIn up on their screen? Hopefully you should be able to see my homepage. Thank you very much for checking that. So today we are going to be looking at LinkedIn in essence around how to attract people to your organization, your business. We specialize really in the education sector. So a lot of clients are nurseries, schools, trusts, independent schools, exam boards, educational organizations. So we're looking at this from the point of view of the education sector. A lot of these tips and tricks will be useful for multiple sectors. But from my point of view, I think there's a few things that kind of make LinkedIn particularly quirky or different for the education sector. So I will touch on those things as I get to them. I think that so as a business, we specialize in helping clients attract more people to their organizational business. And I think that LinkedIn is a really important tool. Because it's such a professional environment, it's particularly useful for the education sector. It's a little bit safer in terms of your brand protection. And I really like it from a recruitment and employer branding point of view, because I think it gives you a holistic approach to how you market yourself out to potential parents, customers, pupils, and staff. So if you're talking about the fact that as a school, you invest heavily in your teachers, you can also be talking about that to attract potential staff and talk a little bit about the benefits of working for you and how heavily you invest in, say, CPD or development or the planning and succession within your organization. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about, and I won't go into too much detail here because LinkedIn's actually pretty good at talking you through this, would be updating your profile. So my recommendation would be that as an organization, and I appreciate some of you may be businesses, but as an organization, let's just use that word going forward. But as an organization, I would be using the same banner across each profile of each employee that you have working for you. I think that this is really important because it shows that when somebody lands on one of your profiles, and that's the most common action people take, viewing profiles, it very clearly presents your brands to them. Whether that's for marketing or whether that's for recruitment, it to a certain degree, it's irrelevant. If you've got a strong banner, it's going to help encourage people to look a bit further through your profile. The first tip I would have about contact information is just double check that it's not your personal information. I think sometimes people are a bit bombarded with phone calls and emails, and quite often the source of that is actually LinkedIn. So just double check that. And LinkedIn's pretty bad at making it clear when you're setting up your profile that these things will be visible. So just worth checking, even if you've used LinkedIn before. And then finally at the top here, you've got the ability where it says profile and URL to click the pencil symbol and change your URL to something that's personalized. So here I've changed it to James M. Digby, and it's a lot better from my point of view than having something like James and then a long list of numbers. Because I often use this on my signature, I often send a link to my profile, I often use this as examples. And also I find it's a little bit easier for some reason for me to rank higher in search results when people are looking for me. So they might want to contact me about something. By updating my URL, I do seem to have ranked this a bit higher for that in Google. So very clear in terms of that first impression, that it's got to be engaging. It's got to be clear. And this tagline at the bottom below my name, that's going to start off as your current job title and the place that you work. So James Digby, Managing Director at Bright. I then changed that using this pencil symbol so that it just explained what we do. So when people land on my profile, it explains a little bit of why they might want to be engaging with me. From your point of view, if you're using this from a marketing tool, explain your proposition in this position. And if you're using this as a recruitment tool, explain the types of people that you're looking to recruit. As we go further down, I would just write a little bit about you and what your organizational business does. Don't put too much text here because it does put people off. And quite often they see that as a bit of a sales pitch for you as an individual for recruitment purposes. As we go further down, the more information you have about your career, the better for recent jobs. The further you go back, just reduce down the content so that people can see that the gist of what you did rather than the detail of that. And in your current experience, again, if you're a recruiter, list some of the jobs that you're recruiting for. Focus on those ones that are likely to be on LinkedIn. So if you're a school, maybe focus less on teaching jobs because people would know you'll be recruiting for those roles. Maybe focus more on things like IT technicians or marketing managers, if they're roles that you're perhaps struggling with, because those types of people will be on LinkedIn. Does anybody have any questions about LinkedIn profiles and what that means for you as an individual? Is there any section that people are unsure about editing? Any section that you're not sure what it's for or what you could be doing? So, sorry. Perfect. So in terms of your profile, you're going to be using this to connect with people and build a network. From a recruitment point of view, without paying for it, it's very, very difficult for you to contact people if they're outside your network. So my first recommendation would be that you start by searching for the people that do a similar role to you. So you might be a HR manager within a school. That's a brilliant place to start with. So you search for HR manager at the top, then you click all people results. It's worth noting when you search at the top, it's searching groups, it's searching jobs, it's searching people, it's searching a wide range of things. So you need to filter on people. So these are all the people in the world that have HR manager on their profile. The search bar at the top is a keyword, it's not a job title. To reduce that down, you can come down to where it says keywords and title, you could put in HR manager. You don't necessarily need to do that because you might want to connect to people that used to be called HR manager and now they're called people manager, or they're called talent manager, or they're called HR director, for example. So I often just leave it when I'm growing my network as the keywords. In industry, for a school, you would use primary and secondary education. So they're the organizations that the individuals that are coming up in the search results work for. But if you're an educational organization, the two that I'd recommend would be education administration programs and education. Of course, if you're in higher education, you also have a section for that. So let's filter it on schools. So now globally, within those schools, there's roughly 10,000 people. I'd recommend you build your network initially within the United Kingdom. So I've selected that as a location. So I can now see that there are 1,600 people who have HR manager in their profile within schools, within the United Kingdom on LinkedIn. And these are the people that if I was a HR manager, I'd start to be networking with. If I was a marketing manager within a school, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. I'd just be changing it to marketing manager at the top. When you invite people to connect, so we can connect with Rosie. If you add a note when that person accepts your connection request, it will go into your messaging. If you just click send, it won't. It will come into a notification. And what I would say is it's very easy for the people that you might want to talk to, it's very easy to miss those people in notifications. So as a general rule of thumb, I'd say connect with the people that you just want to have as a network by clicking send, and add a note for those people that you want to talk to, because it will make sure that you don't miss anything when they accept your connection request. So that's the best place to start. Connect with your peers, connect with people who have a similar job title to you. And the reason is because they probably and hopefully have already been building up a network of the kinds of people that you would be interested in contacting. So your connections, their network, that's a second level or a second tier. So as you can see, Rosie is second level. So it's showing that I have 12 mutual connections, and these people are listed at the bottom. If I really, really wanted to connect with Rosie, I could click through to those mutual connections and I could say, Joe Bloggs, would you mind introducing me to Rosie? I'm interested in speaking to her about X, Y, and Z. But if I'm just looking to grow my network, I probably wouldn't do that. But I might, if I felt Rosie wasn't going to accept my connection, I might say, we both know Pippa. I thought it would be good for us to be connected. So that's the best place to start in growing your network. You'll very quickly have a network of a reasonable size. And once you've reached about 100 to 200 connections, I would then grow that network more organically through posting. I'd still add a few people, but I'd be less focused on growing my network that way, because it's not a great way to do it. So let's talk a little bit about posting. The best way to post content about your website or news is to take the URL. So let's find something that maybe it's on here. So say, for example, I wanted to share this and it was a news article. I can paste it in here. So I can paste that link in here. And what it will do is it will load a preview at the bottom so that I can delete that URL. So this is a preview of that page. It's saying about speech writing. It's saying that there's about a minute's worth of text on that page. And importantly, and you may see a lot of people not doing this, importantly, I can now delete the URL. Once I've done that, I can then say I'm sharing this because of X, Y, and Z. Found this really useful, thought it might be great for my network. The more people that then interact with that content, the further its reach. So the most important concept I hope to get across today is the idea of content having value. So the way that value works, if you've got 1,000 people in your network, say you share a post about an open day you have at your school because you're a marketing manager, your network is probably made up initially of people who might not be interested in that open day. So very few people are going to look at it. You might have a lot of colleagues, so your colleagues might look at it, they might click see more, they might pause on it, they might like it, comment on it, repost it, or send it to someone. Each time these actions happen, so if somebody pauses on it to read it, if somebody clicks read more, or see more, sorry, it gives it different volumes of scoring, and the higher that score, the more people LinkedIn shows it to. The reason this is really important is because quite often when I speak to people about LinkedIn, they're posting jobs. They're just sharing jobs, and they're sharing open days, and they're sharing marketing to their network. They often get a little bit of results, but they struggle because maybe they get 100 views or 100 impressions, and then your content dies. However, the reason that's happening is because initially your network will be engaging with it because they might be colleagues, they might be people that you know, people might just be interested in you because they know you personally. So there's a bit of engagement, it's given a bit of value, but then after say 50 or 100 people, it very quickly gets lowered in value because nobody else is engaging with it. So the best way that you can overcome that and the best way that you can get your content out there would be to share content that will be relevant to your target audience and relevant for them to engage with. So, for example, if I wanted to reach IT technicians, because I'm recruiting for an IT technician, rather than sharing a post saying we are currently recruiting for an IT technician with a link to the job, the chances of that coming across enough people to engage with it's very slim. I might share something about technology. So I might share, I might go and talk to the IT manager and I might say, what cyber security do we need? A few weeks back, cybersecurity in schools was in the news quite a bit. So at that point, it would have been a perfect time to be sharing that content. And then within that post, I might say, cybersecurity is such an important element of our strategy for IT. We're currently looking for an IT technician. If you would like to have a conversation about this or find out more, please let me know. Below is an article that we found really useful about cybersecurity within schools. People are then likely to engage with it. People that are suitable will be more interested in it, and it will get shown to more people that meet the profile that you need. Basically, those people who are interested in IT within the education sector. And the same thing for marketing. If I market about the success of a pupil, for example, initially the current parents and alumni might engage with that post quite a bit, whether I share it as me as an individual, as a marketing manager, or whether I share it as me as a school or an exam board or a nursery, it's initially going to probably do reasonably well. But what you'll see is that actually you're trying to attract new people. You're trying to get your brand in front of new people. The things that really, really work well are value add pieces. They are templates, they are checklists, they are pieces of research, they are quotes, they're statistics, they're infographics. They're things that your target audience are going to be interested in. So if it's a nursery, for example, that you're marketing out, it might be that you share a new parent checklist for picking the best nursery. If you are an independent school, a state school, or a trust, you might be sharing a guide to supporting children through their exams. How do you cope with supporting children through a stressful exam period? If you're a girls' school, you might be sharing content that shows the positives and the negatives of sending your child to a single-sex school. So these things are very useful for people. Your parents and your alumni will engage with them. That will give it some value, but it will then share it to their network, and it will be that network that starts to engage with it so that it gets a bit of a snowball effect and is shown to more people. Does that make sense, that value piece for content? In terms of things that I would avoid, I would definitely avoid anything political, and I would definitely avoid anything that that is too much of a sales pitch. A good rule for content is thirds. So a third of your content should be about the sector, a third should be about marketing and recruitment, and a third should be about your profession. So it might be you're a marketing manager, so a third will be about the education sector, some of the changes and some of the challenges maybe. A third would be marketing your organization or school out. And then a third will be about changes in marketing channels, how TikTok could be used to market out schools. If you are ever stuck for content, LinkedIn on the right hand side has a series of news stories, content that it's gathered. It's a bit of a weird mixture, really. So, for example, if you're a HR manager and you're looking to network more with HR people, you could click through to career stability. I would always read the summary of it, but you could also scroll through to see what people are talking about. At the top, I would click share, and then I would click repost to feed. And the nice thing here is it's populated in a very nice visual format. Going back to that value piece, it's really important that you do write some text at the top here. If you just post something without text at the top, it's initially given a lower value. So that's a really useful way to just find some quick content. The thing that a lot of people don't know is that if you click Start Post, you do have the ability at the bottom here to click More. You can create events, you can celebrate occasions, you can share that you're hiring, you can create a poll, add documents, you can ask for an expert in a particular thing. I like the create a poll option because it is engaging. You can put in a question here. So for example, how far would you travel for the right school? Would you apply for a job if it just had competitive in the job title, in the salary range? So you can ask a question, you can give people some options, you can add more if you want, and then you can decide how long it lasts for. Once that closes, you also get a bonus post because you've run your research. Lots of people hopefully have engaged with it. You've got the results, and at the end, it will notify you, and you can share that post and poll result with your network. So you get 2 posts ready for the price of 1. This is the best level of engagement I've seen, and some of these things have received about 7,000 or 8,000 impressions, which is significant considering to pay for that would be very expensive. So once you do that, automatically people start to connect with you, and I would continue until you had about 500 connections with manually inviting people and posting content. You want a good mixture of both. When you are recruiting or marketing your school out, let's pretend that Bright is a school, you can do exactly the same as your school account. The problem is it's very difficult to grow your followers. We've got 1,105, for example, and it's much easier to grow your network. People tend to connect more regularly with individuals than follow a company or a school or an organization or a charity. The way that you get around that, and this is the main reason that you should be encouraging your colleagues to use LinkedIn, the main way that you get around that is by encouraging people to sign up to LinkedIn and select your company profile or your school profile as their current place of work. What that will do is it will mean that when people are on their profiles and they see where they work, they can click the logo and it'll come through to the company profile. And that's a great source of people, a great way to drive traffic to your company profile. I would be, if I was recruiting, if I was a HR manager or a recruiter, I would be asking department heads, senior leadership, senior management, whoever it might be that recruits within your organization to build up a network of people that they're going to need to recruit in the future. IT managers need to add IT technicians. Head of science needs to be adding science teachers and so on and so forth. What you can do then is notify people when you're sharing something that'd be suitable. And you do that by clicking notify employees with these 3 dots. A lot of people haven't seen that. It's a really useful thing to do, especially if you've got a good number of employees that are connected to you as an organization or school or business. So that will drive traffic to that content, and it will also drive traffic to wherever you've hyperlinked that to. So if you're promoting an open day for teachers who might want to work for you, then that works well. If you're promoting opportunities for parents to come and have a look around your school, if you're promoting it to customers that might want to buy your digital education products or your app or whatever it might be, this is a brilliant way to grow that reach and do it very quickly. To grow that network from your network and move that over to your company profile, you can invite connections. It's a really quick way to grow your network. You literally just click invite connections and you go through and you add the people that you feel might be suitable to follow you as a business or organization, and then you just click send. You get 250 of those credits as a company profile every month, so do use them. If you don't have enough connections to invite 250 people every month, then add more administrators from your organization to this, and they can also go here and in here and add their network. It's a brilliant way to quickly grow the number of followers that you have. Does anybody have any questions about company profiles? A school profile, a business profile, all these different things, they all get called the same under LinkedIn, and that's a company profile. You can contact, if you're a school, you can contact LinkedIn and get them to make sure that your company profile also counts as a school profile, and that allows your alumni to select you as a place of education. Perfect. So if nobody has any questions about that, I think it's worth talking about the benefits and negatives of using LinkedIn as a marketing tool and using it as a recruitment tool. From a marketing point of view, it's very difficult to get outside your bubble. The best way to do that is to start by connecting to suitable people. So that might be parents, that might be Is it possible to hear me? Brilliant. Thank you for letting me know. So I was just saying that it's important to see it from both points of view, but talking from a marketing point of view, I would initially start by adding current members of staff to my network, and I think your company profile is the best place to have parents and alumni, and that tends to be more of a natural process. Once you've started to kind of attract those people, they will be in a similar kind of demographic to suitable parents or customers. And by sharing content to current customers and current parents and alumni, you'll then naturally start to reach those people. But it does take a long period of time. Within marketing, you may well move jobs, or your team within marketing, if you've got a team, might move jobs. To solve that issue, anybody they are connecting with, they could be inviting to follow the company or school profile, and that's a good place to collate it. Definitely, if you're managing a LinkedIn company profile, definitely make sure you've got about 3 users. I've seen it before where people get locked out of LinkedIn, they lose their account, they get blocked by LinkedIn, a variety of things, and they then lose their company profile at the same time. So I would recommend at least 3 people being administrators on there. Share content that highlights your values and highlights the value that you can add to people by them engaging with you. So checklists work really well, ebooks, research, content, statistics, all of these things work really, really well from a marketing point of view. From a recruitment point of view, the biggest negative is that current customers and current parents feel that they should be given a bit more of an advantage for recruitment because they're a current customer or parent. In particular, this is the case for independent schools. So just be a little bit cautious with that. You want to attract people that share your values, not people that want to work for you because they think it'll be easy for them to get the job. Your employee brand and your marketing brand, it needs to be still 1/3 as a total of all of your content. Be careful that your content's not just marketing, recruitment, marketing, recruitment, marketing, recruitment. It needs to be things that are useful and interesting for people. So you're not bombarding them. And that's a very quick way to lose followers, just bombarding people with sales messages. Appreciate in half an hour I've given everybody a lot to kind of consider, but these are all of the things that I wanted to talk about, and there's plenty of time if anybody's got any questions. I think quite often people need a bit of time to digest this and go away. If that's the case for you, and you have any difficulties updating the profile or changing some of the things or doing some things I've recommended, I'm going to send you a recording, but also just feel free to email me, and I can give you a call or come back to you with a guide to show you how to do something. But does anybody have any questions at all? Perfect. Well, thank you all very much for attending. As I say, I'll send you the recording. You'll have my email address. Do ask me some questions. If you're struggling for ideas for marketing, feel free to message me. I do a session on lead magnets, which is very heavily linked to this. Once you're generating lead magnets that could be suitable for your target audience, you can be using those across LinkedIn. And from a recruitment point of view, it can also show you how you could be headhunting people, but that's better done on an actual job that you have. But thank you all very much.